Hello and welcome to Just One More Watch. Welcome today to my review of a watch that is going to get a certain type of collector very excited. And I must admit, I am that collector. This one is right up my street personally. Now, you may or may not have noticed, but we are currently in 2023. That is the 60th anniversary of the creation of the original Sea-gull 1963. The perfect time to release a special edition, wouldn't you say? And that is exactly what sea-gull1963.com have done. They have produced a limited production run of 750 individually numbered units of the classic 38mm Sea-gull ST1901 column wheel chronograph powered watch, but in bronze, with an exhibition case back and a beautiful colour-matched single pass strap. Now, I am a big fan of the Sea-gull 1963. I'm now on to my fourth or fifth different variation. And I've said it a number of times, the watch is a bit of a must if you are a watch collector with an eye for value. I think, therefore, that this 60th anniversary version also then becomes a bit of a must if you're into the Sea-gull 1963. Now, you saw the pop-up? This video is sponsored by sea-gull1963.com. They sent me a watch number 25 out of 750, so you can't have that one because it now belongs to me. I will of course leave links to their site in the description of the video. These watches are manufactured by Thomas at Red Star. Red Star make the officially unofficial version of the watch. If your head just exploded, that's fine. Mine did too when I made this video discussing the intricacies of Sea-gull versus Sea-gull. That doesn't really matter today though. What matters is this watch is a wee honey. Let's flip the camera and have a look at it. Okay, let's start with the logical place to start, the packaging. And I would like to extend a special thank you to the Australian Customs officer who decided to open my package with a knife. That is for you. They didn't actually then inspect what was inside the box, they just slashed the outside of the box and then probably moved on to slash the next package they came across. Anyway, this should all look familiar if you have bought one of these Red Star 63s before. The little tin, the hang tag, some warranty information and a couple of cards thanking you for your purchase and talking about the backstory of this particular model. And then we get to the real meat of the day, a bronze 1963. Now, some watches look weird in bronze, some watches look good in bronze, some watches look great in bronze, and I think the 63 is one of the latter. It's always been an odd fish in terms of colours. You know, champagne dial, gold numerals, blue hands and a red chronograph hand, so why not add some bronze into the mix as well? And of course, this one is box fresh. It's only going to patina with time, adding character as it does so. And a bit of patina on this is just going to enhance all of those colours that I just listed. Okay, dimensions then. If you're a fan of the 63, you can probably sing along with me. They've done a few versions of this watch over the years, but this is the classic 38mm in diameter. A fairly chunky 13.9mm thick though, but a very compact 44mm lug to lug and 18mm lug width. That makes the supplied strap all the more important because 18 is definitely not as common as 20 or 22. Now, on the supplied strap it weighs in at 69 grams, water resistance is negligible at 30 meters, so do not get it wet. Glass is double dome sapphire and the movement, as I'm sure you all know, is the Sea-gull ST1901. And there it is. 21 joule manual winding of course, but it doesn't hack. You get a power reserve somewhere in the mid to high 30s when fully wound, but if you run the chronograph movement all the time, that drops down to the low 30s. This is a bit of an antique, this one. It's based on a Swiss Venus caliber that the Chinese bought from the Swiss in the early 1960s, specifically to make the original version of this watch for their military. It is by far the cheapest mechanical chronograph movement on the market. And it's fascinating to watch in operation through a display caseback. This is the premium version, if you will. It has the swan neck regulator, so you can fine-tune the accuracy if you want to, but I don't imagine many people will be all that concerned about the accuracy here though. This is a collection piece. This is a rotation piece at best. It is not an everyday watch. There's a stack of decoration including blue screws. It doesn't look bad close up, but having said that, it definitely looks better from a little further away. The caseback is etched with the Red Star name, the fact that it is a 60th anniversary edition, and the individual numbers out of 750, this one being 25. The finishing of the watch overall is simple but effective. Bronze watches don't need to be particularly fancy because they're going to be covered in patina soon anyway, let's face it. There's a vertical brush to that very thin mid case and a circular brush to the upper lug surfaces and to the fixed bezel. Chronograph pushers are also made of bronze, as is the 6mm crown, which features the star logo. The double dome sapphire is nicely integrated. There is barely a step between the bezel and the sapphire when you run your finger over the two of them. Now the display case back is not bronze, however it is stainless steel, so it won't turn the back of your wrist green. Again, finishing throughout, simple, but that's okay. And it's a single pass seatbelt style nylon strap that comes with the watch. It has nice matching bronze hardware of course, and it's a great shade of green with that red centre stripe that follows the line of the red chronograph hand when it is at the reset position pointing to 12. Very nice touch, that one. One push of the top pusher starts the movement. The 30-minute register is at the 3 o'clock there, by the way. It's a small second register at 9. A second push of that pusher stops the movement, and the bottom pusher to reset it. If you don't stop it, it will just run and run and run, which looks nice but will reduce the power reserve as discussed. Before I get it on wrist, let's have another look at the dial and the dial in combination with the bronze case material. Now, if I described a watch with a champagne dial, gold numerals and blue and red hands, you would think I was on something. But it actually just works in practice, doesn't it? Not for everyone, I am sure, but I've always really liked the combination myself. And when you catch those numerals with just the right light, the whole dial just pops. The numerals and logo are applied, but the sub-registers are just printed on the dial. They're not in fact recessed today. There's a minute track printed around the outer edge with small numerals at the 5s and 1/5 of a minute markers. It's there if you ever need it, but it's discreet enough to almost disappear when you don't. And there is one extra line of text on this one just beneath the pinion, which I have been assured says 60th anniversary. It better say that because my Chinese isn't very good. They've been making these 63 reissues now for well over a decade. It's arguably China's most famous watch, and one that gets a nod of respect from collectors at all levels because of the history of the model and because of how bloody good it looks. On wrist, it isn't a huge watch at 3818, but it still has a bit of presence thanks to its near 14mm thickness, and thanks of course to that eclectic combination of colour on the dial and the hands. The single pass is a good choice though. It could easily get a bit bobbly on a double pass NATO. I mean, it's never going to be heavy no matter what you put on it, but it's probably a good idea to work with the thickness rather than against it. Now, I've always worn my 63s on leather straps, but I'd be tempted to keep this one on the supplied NATO because the hardware is so good and because that colour matching is so good. Now, pocket shot to finish, no AR coating on the sapphire. As you can see here, the dial does come and go a bit depending on light intensity and light angle, but it doesn't lack presence for a small watch, does it? And yeah, they've definitely got that strap choice spot on. Alright, moans and niggles. No loom, minimal water resistance, manual wind movement. That's not a great combination for a daily, is it? This is probably a rotation piece therefore, at best for most people. And the decision to go with sapphire will please some but not all. Acrylic crystal would obviously have been more prone to scuffing and scratching, but also have been truer to the ethos of the originals from the 1960s. And the single pass nylon may be nicely colour matched, but they could surely have sealed the ends a bit better. This looks rough, and I'm not sure how long it's going to last, which is a shame because it matches so well. And I haven't really mentioned price yet. These are €400, which is just over $400 US. Now that does include a 2-year warranty and free shipping, but you can of course get a stainless steel 1963 for a lot less than that, probably about 40% of the cost if you shop around. So, you know, if you just want the watch but aren't fussed about the material, then this probably is not the one to go for. And as always, a word of caution surrounding the Sea-Gull ST19 movement. This is based on a Venus caliber from the 1940s, and it's now mass manufactured in China. Failure rates for these are perhaps unsurprisingly therefore quite a lot higher than for a Seiko or a Miyota movement. Like I said, 2-year warranty, but seagull1963.com are based in the Netherlands. So again, just bear all of that in mind in case something does go wrong over the period of ownership. So this is a niche version of a niche product. It already stood in isolation as an affordable mechanical column wheel chronograph, and adding bronze just made it even more of a unique proposition. Not everyone appreciates the story or the design of the 1963, but if you're a collector of affordable watches, you really ought to have one in your collection. And if you are a collector of 1963s, this limited edition bronze then becomes a bit of a must-have. I will be watching very closely to see how long it takes for them to sell out all 750. Well, all 749 plus this one. So there you have it. Not the cheapest way to get a Seagull 1963 on your wrist, of that I am well aware, but at less than $400 it's not a particularly expensive way to get a limited edition, individually numbered, bronze cased column wheel chronograph watch with a fantastic backstory that gets a lot of respect from true watch collectors on your wrist. If you want to take the red pill and drop down the 1963 rabbit hole, click here. If you want to take the blue pill and have a look at the larger 40mm version of the original watch, click here. Thanks for watching. I'll see you all again in a future video.